Welcome to my YouTube channel. At any time during this video, you can click on the lower right hand corner to subscribe to my channel. This is a short video I created about mounting paper. This is the process I use to mount my paper before I begin my watercolor paintings, and it's a question I'm frequently asked. It's not the same process used by many, however it's the process that I use and it works very well for me. Now we'll go to my studio and I'll show you my process. I'm here in my studio and you can only see probably my hands and part of me, but I want you to be able to see my workspace here. And I'm in my studio in the area that I call my framing table, and this is where I also mount my paper. And one of the questions that I get asked frequently has to do with how I mount my paper. Do I stretch it? Do I soak it? What do I do? Do I take off sizing? I really don't do anything too fancy. I pretty much just tape it to my board with masking tape and roll it. And then I'm good to go. So I have a piece of gator board here. This is sized so that it'll fit up to a half a sheet. It's a 1/2 inch gator board. It's very straight, flat, very durable, and very light. Doesn't weigh much at all. Then I have a 1/4 sheet of 140 pound cold press Watercolor, which is what I work on pretty much all the time. And I've cut this to size. It's a 1/4 sheet, and when I cut it from a full sheet, I mark the corner with a pencil so I know which side I want to paint on. On the watermark side is what I like to paint on. So I do that so I know where that's at. And one of the things I do on my boards is I have a rectangle that's to size of a 1/4 sheet. And the reason I do that is to help me center this when I mount it, so that when I film, because I do film, I won't have to keep adjusting my camera and resetting it. So by centering this on my boards are a standard size, I have markings on my drawing table, so I can just place this board down and it lines up with the camera, except for maybe some very slight adjustments. So that just helps me be a little bit more productive. But what I do is I just take my paper, put it in my mark, and I'm using masking tape. And the masking tape I'm using is 3M contractor's grade. I get it at the home improvement stores. It's a thin tape, but it holds very well. Sometimes it doesn't want to come up and it tears because it's so thin. But I just tear a piece to size, put it on the edge here with just about 1/8 of an inch. Then I turn this around. If your paper is bowed at all, you can put something on it to weight it, but I don't normally have too much problem with that. And I get this side, then I turn it. Get another side. Turn it again. And get another side. And then I take this little wooden seam roller. It's something used for rolling wallpaper seams. I've had it for a long time. And I just roll that down, turn it, roll that again, roll every side. Get my controller there. And it's good to go. And that's all I do to mount my paper. So that's a 1/4 sheet. Now next we're going to do a full sheet. Alright, now we're back at my framing table, and here I have a larger piece of gator board, still 1/2 inch, still, even though it's a large piece, very flat, very light, doesn't bow, very strong. And now I have a full sheet of Watercolor. And you can see it has just a little bit of an edge of the board showing on the side. And I have my watermark here, as I can read it in the lower right hand corner. That's just how I like to use my paper. So I'm going to tape this. There are times when I'll choose to staple it on a full sheet, and I'll just start in the center here. I'll lay a staple here and I'll turn it, and I'll put a staple here and a staple here and a staple here, and then I'll start going out around so it goes out like this, and you can staple right into the gator board. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to tape it. Most often I tape it. The reason I'll staple it from time to time, if I think I'm really going to be soaking my paper and I want just a tighter bond. But pretty much the masking tape works for me. So just as I did with a quarter sheet, I tear a strip of tape. I smooth it with my hand and I bend it around the corner because there's not enough board to take the whole 1-inch tape. I turn it around. This is still pretty flat, so I'm not going to weight it down or anything, put anything on it. Tear another piece of tape. And make sure on this I get about 1/4 of an inch on these large sheets. Tear that little piece off. Now I'm going to get the ends. And then I roll it. So when I'm rolling, I make sure I roll the side of the tape that's on the paper, and then I go to the, on this one, I go down to the other edge here because there's a bit of a step down to make sure I get that on there. And that's good to go. It's a 140-pound cold press. I can put a big wash on that, and I don't have any problems with it. I work frequent with a hairdryer. When I dry that, it'll go right back flat. So I really don't have much problems with it. But that's how I mount pretty much almost all my paintings, with the occasional exception of using a stapler.